another thing that's going to happen, you are going to be highly intuitive. You are going to casually pick up on life and its events before they actually happen. And I'll give you some examples. All right, so the other day I was driving down the freeway and I saw on my GPS, it said 8 miles till my destination. And so what popped into my head was somebody cracking an 8 Mile joke with Eminem and, you know, the whole 8 Mile movie, and running through an entire scenario in my head where people are joking about 8 Mile, right? And I'm thinking, like, it stood out to me. I'm thinking, like, why does 8 miles, like, obviously that's why it reminds me, but I usually can look at like 8 miles and not think about Eminem or not think about 8 Mile or, you know, any of that, right? So a couple miles down the street, I see a big ass sign, exit, that says 8 Mile Road, next exit. And so I'm like, this is why that stood out to me, because I was picking up, you know, on that future timeline, right? Very casually. This is something we can all do. Another thing, another example of this is when you haven't heard a song, you know, in like a million years, since like the 90s or something, and some song comes on and it's like, you know, Luda or something, like, I wanna lick you to your head, you know. Anyway, you're like, I haven't heard that song in a long time. Why am I thinking about that? That's so weird. But then the very next song that comes on the radio is that song, and you're like, I literally was just thinking about that song. That's so weird, right? This is not a coincidence. These are not subtle coincidences, right? These are you picking up on future timelines, or, you know, even just tapping into the radio station frequency on your own, because all of us humans have that capability. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So more benefits to having your third eye just open and balanced is you will be very cognitive, more clear-minded, just in general. Your memory, your focus, you know, your ability to comprehend things is going to be at an all-time high, right? So this also includes remembering your dreams very vividly. Another thing is that you know, are a little bit of a deeper thinker. You see the deeper meanings in things. And so you will easily just be able to pull meanings and guidance from the universe and things that you can know, you know, valuable information. You can pull all this from your dreams. You can connect to loved ones. You can, you know, deceased loved ones. You can do all kinds of stuff, right? Because you see the deeper meaning to things. So, you know, last but not least, right, you might be able to see energy particles very vividly, right? So, an example of this is a heater. When you look at a heater, you see all the energy particles coming off it. You see kind of the air bending around it. You see that heat coming off it, right? You see the particles. So you can look at other things in life, because everything has energy particles, and you can see that same kind of pattern, right? And so another example is when I was at the nail salon. I used to go to the nail salon when I, you know, couldn't see energy very vividly, but I could still see it, and I'd be sitting there with my hands under those black lights, you know. So black lights kind of help if you want to use black lights when you are starting off to try to train yourself to be better at this, right? I had my hands under the black lights, and I'm like looking around, and I look down, I'm like, wow, what? Because I see the energy particles between my fingers. And not only that, but it correlated to my heart beating and my blood pumping, right? So my heart would be like bum 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 bum, and the particles would be like boom 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 boom, like moving with my body. And so once I was able to zero in on that, I was able to practice, and now I can pretty much see energy particles coming off of everything. And this is something that we can all do as humans. I'm a human just like you're a human. You have the same capabilities as me, basically. So I'll walk by a plant, you know, plants have really vivid energy in my eyes, right? So I'll walk by a plant and I'll see the energy particles around the plant. You know, I'll know if my plants are more healthy or, you know, losing their life force or whatever, because I can see it, you know, and just have an inner knowing and feel it before I actually recognize and realize all this with my physical 3D senses. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on that, you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If this video was helpful for you, give it a big thumbs up. It actually helps the algorithm. It helps other people get this information more easily. And next time I come back, we're going to be talking about how to balance your third eye, all right, to get it more like this. Namaste.